G'day, AJ Mahara here. And I'm going to answer the question, could you fall in love with someone with borderline personality disorder and fight to make it work? Well, you could fall in love with someone with borderline personality disorder, but they can't return your love. So can you fall in love with someone with BPD and fight to make it work? You can, but will you succeed in making it work? Because you can't change someone else. But I guess let me use this analogy, okay? So the question is, could someone fall in love, or could you fall in love with someone with borderline personality disorder and fight to make it work? Well, let me ask this question in response as an analogy that is an answer onto itself. Could you decide that you wanted to carry your car to work to get through traffic faster rather than drive and be in that rush hour traffic grid gridlock and take extra long? Could you decide to carry your car to work instead of drive it to work? Sure. You could decide that. You could try that. You could think about that. But is that really going to work? So, with that analogy then, I give you the answer that so many people, even if this applies to you right now and you're falling in love with somebody with borderline personality disorder, you're not going to want to hear it right now. I understand that. But if you've been there, done that, and you're still just a little unsure, or you're with someone with borderline personality disorder that you do love, but you've learned about how they don't know how to love, and you wonder, can you fight to make it work? Well, sure you can. But you're as likely to succeed with that as if you chose to carry your car to work versus driving it. Really, that's a hard reality for people who love someone or who are falling in love with someone. Or let me just be frank, I have a lot of clients who tell me who's having great sex with someone with borderline personality disorder, which of course even that you don't want to end, but you may want more of a relationship, but the sex is just great. And I'm not mocking anybody because a lot of clients tell me this and it's serious. But the thing is, the impossibility of what you're setting out to get involved in, what you're setting out to try to fight for, that you may not really understand in the totality or in the to the measure that if you did understand it, you would try right now, not try, you would right now decide that feelings aside, strong feelings of love and or having great sex with someone with borderline personality disorder doesn't mean that you can fight for a relationship to work out in any healthy way at all, because it won't. Not in a healthy way, unless the person with BPD gets enough therapy to change significantly enough to create a life worth living and or to work toward recovery and to know who they are and to grow up from the arrested development where they're still young emotionally. They're like young children emotionally, not intellectually. So, really, the answer is you absolutely can choose. I mean, if you're falling in love with someone with BPD or you love them already, it's really going to be difficult to hear this. But if you're on the cusp of something and then someone says, hey, I have borderline personality disorder, or you read up on or come to my YouTube channel at, youtube.com/AJ and there's a whole playlist there for people who are loved ones of those with BPD, where I talk in a lot of videos about why you could love somebody with BPD, but people with borderline personality disorder can't love you back. and what happens and how that creates such a painful to often traumatizing dynamic for people. So my question back to the person who asked this question, which is a great question, but you really need to be ready to hear the answer. If you have this question in your life, you need to be able to hear the answer. No, you can't fight. You can fall in love with them, but it won't be reciprocated in any adult healthy relational way. They can't love in any healthy adult way. They can't love in healthy ways. So no, you can't fight to make it work. I mean, yeah, you can fight to make it work, but you aren't going to make it work, if that makes any sense right now. Especially to people who won't want to hear this answer. There are a lot of people who already know this. There are a lot of people who might be at the point right now loving someone or loving someone and having great sex with someone, or just great sex with someone and falling in love with them, whatever the case may be. And they want to fight to keep whatever it is they have, whether it be the great sex or the great sex and falling in love or falling in love. But then you can't fight for a relationship because they don't know how to return love. And it's like, never mind trying to carry your car to work instead of driving it. It's like trying to get love from a rock. You know, you can hug it, you can care for it, you can, I don't know, move it around, you can fight for it, you can protect it, but you can't get anything from it. Like, you can't get reciprocity or mutuality, which are required for healthy love. You can't even be visible consistently with somebody with borderline personality disorder until they've done a lot of work. But people with borderline personality disorder who might really have, gone through significant amounts of therapy, they're not going to be the kind of person with borderline personality disorder for whom a person falling in love with somebody with BPD is going to need to ask this question. So if you are someone out there who wonders, like you're falling in love with someone with BPD, and maybe they told you or somehow, you can't. You can fight to make it work, but you won't make it work. So you have a better chance of carrying your car to work than you do making a relationship with someone you're falling in love with BPD, fighting for it. People with BPD right fight. They're right fighting and a myriad of other issues that people with borderline personality disorder have, including approach avoidance conflicts, insecure bonding and attachment issues that go all the way back to early childhood, cause abandonment trauma and attachment trauma that causes emotional arrested development around the age of 2. You're going to be seen as a parent figure, object, other, wounding parent representation. You're going to be invisible to them. You can fight all you want, but you're not going to be able to create or build with them any consistent connection or love beyond how you feel that's healthy, or that adults really rather would have or seek out. So my advice to anybody falling in love knowingly with somebody with borderline personality disorder who still is in need of a lot of treatment, therapy, and growth, to be able to know who they are and find out what love is, because often they don't find this out in childhood, and how to connect to others in mutual, reciprocal, healthy ways, interdependent ways. Then all the fighting to make it work with a person with borderline personality disorder in the world is going to end up traumatizing you, is going to end up changing you, is going to end up with you losing yourself. And I think it's fair to say that nobody that you could love or want to fight for a relationship with is worth losing yourself. So the answer is, you can fall in love with somebody with borderline personality disorder, but they don't know how to love. They're going to punish you for that very love that you have for them. And you fight to make it work? You can try. but more to the point, can you succeed in fighting? Can your fighting to make it work succeed? No, not if you accept them for who they are, and if they haven't gotten significant enough treatment. So the answer is no, because you have a better chance, like I said, of carrying your car to work than driving it. So, you know, if you know that you're falling in love with someone with borderline personality disorder right now, I hope you can hear this. It could be heartbreaking, I understand, and I really have empathy for you. But for people who carry on this path, then it's always about trying to get the person with borderline personality disorder to get help, trying to get them to change, trying to get them to grow, all of which they need to do, but none of which you can help them or fight for them to do in any way that's going to mean anything, because they won't get there or change or grow or know how to love someone back or be in a healthy relationship ever unless they decide they want treatment and they want to come out the other side of borderline personality disorder. So I would advise anybody falling in love with somebody with BPD and knowing it, stop. It's going to hurt right now, but it's not going to hurt as much as if you fight for this relationship and you go through the whole myriad of cycles and pain and traumatization and loss of self that people go through more often than not. And that hurts a lot more than backing away from someone you're falling in love with. I hope that was helpful. And everybody, take care of yourself, care about others, but know that you can only change yourself. You can't change anyone else. You can't fight for anyone else to emotionally change. Take care.